Another day, another Chevy with an issue. Let's fix it. Good day, viewers, and welcome back to Dallas Auto Diag. Today we are at the shop, and I have a viewer contacted me. He said, you seem to know what was going on with the Chevy Malibus, and I have a Chevy Malibu that giving me a problem. So I told him, no, you know, I'm not a specialist, Chevy specialist or anything. I just diag the vehicles, you know, and whatever the problems they have. So he said yes. So the problem, he has a P06DE or ED. It's a DE code, P06DE code. So he dropped the car here, and I told him I'll take a look at it. That code basically, the code says engine oil pressure control solenoid valve stuck on. And there's other codes that might give you the same symptoms: DTC06DA, DB, DC, DD, and DE. And each one you can pause and read. Each one has its own description. He said the car drives fine, but when he hit the gas, just like, you know, he's racing it, car won't go over 35 miles or 40 miles. He has a message, reduce engine power. What has he replaced in this vehicle? He did replace this solenoid and this solenoid, which are unrelated, by the way. Everything he replaced from the dealer. He replaced the valve itself, like giving him the problem, which is located under the vehicle by the oil pump, and he put an oil pump brand new from the dealer, and he replaced the oil pressure sensor. So he put a lot of parts, a lot of money into this issue, and he still have that code. I did a full scan to the vehicle, and let me get you guys away from this noise. Catalytic converter, he has a cat code. Sorry for the glare. Let me see right here better. Engine oil pressure control solenoid valve stuck on, P06DE. And it's a requested, and he has a post Cadillac fuel trim system low limit. Not requested, not run. So this is the code that he's been dealing with. This is the problem. I kind of knew that there isn't gonna be much information on the web for it, because most of these codes, the A, B, C, D, not the E that we have. Most of these videos and topics in the forums. So I figured to make one. I couldn't find any video on the YouTube. So let's make one. We always this is always a reason for us to make videos. There is another reason why I decided to make this video. First, we're going to split the video to two sections. The first section is about you guys that have the code and have done a recent mechanical repair to your engine. The reason why I'm saying this, because there is a TSB. A TSB is a technical service bulletin, was released by GM. The reason why this TSB was released, because there were so many cars brought to GM to discuss the same concern, same code, and when they find out that a local shop or anybody had recently worked on them, they misplaced that gasket. Let's start from the beginning. Well, the vehicles that apply to this: Buick Encore 1618, 1.4, 1.5, all the 4 cylinders. Chevy Cruze 1618, Chevy Equinox 18, Malibu 1618. This is our case. We have a 17 Chevy Malibu 17. Chevy Spark 1618, Chevy Trax 1618, Chevy Volt 1618, and GMC Terrain 18. They probably share the same setup. So the condition and low engine pressure, DTC, this is our DTC. Time and chain tensioner gasket may be improperly installed or out of position. You guys can pause and read. And this is a improperly installed gasket. Here's another one. Here's another one. And here's a good one. Okay, so when you install it improperly like this, you will allow for the oil to be leaking to some other parts of the engine that is not supposed to be there, and that's why the oil pressure is going to be low. So if you have done recently done any mechanical work to your engine, you might want to go to that mechanic again and tell him, hey, look at this video, look at this TSB. And if you want to Google the TSB, it's PIP5519, I believe that's the number. Like, hey, are you sure you put that gasket properly for that tensioner for the timing chain? I mean, of course they're gonna say yes, but what are you gonna do? They're gonna have to open the cover and look at it one more time. But that's a hint for you guys. But the other group of people that their car hasn't been touched recently, it's still virgin, the engine, nobody play with it. For those, I am going to touch a little bit on the electric of that solenoid itself, and a part of it is going to be a scan tool operation, and after that it is just a matter of low pressure. We have to find out why we have a low pressure. So component location, as I said before, it's located under the vehicle by the oil pump. We're going to lift up the vehicle. I already set it up on the lift, and this is the schematics for the engine control module, and this is the solenoid. It's a 2-wire solenoid, plus and minus. The plus is that violet blue, which is shared by so many other components, and it's provided by the engine control module through, not this one, this is highlighted. No, sorry, it's provided through a fuse right here. It says powertrain on engine fuse 15 amp. This is on the underhood fuse block. Now, I'm almost certain, 100% sure this fuse is good. The reason why, because as I said, it provides power to many components and sensors, and if this fuse was blown, probably the car wouldn't even start. So we're gonna assume the fuse is good. We can always check it. I'm gonna show you guys where's that fuse, but in this case, trust me, I think it's not. But that's not gonna stop us from going to that connector, or probably this connector, which is an inline connector, X156, and check power and ground over there. This is the solenoid, as we said, the valve, and it's gonna be commanded through the engine control module, which is the computer oil pump command signal. So the engine control module controls that solenoid based on the command, the situation, speed, boost. One piece of information worth mentioning about the case that I'm working on. When I found out the TSB, I called the owner of the vehicle. He's not here, he dropped it. So I called him and I said, has anybody done anything to the engine recently? He said yes, the car was borrowed by a friend of his, and it was driven to the point where it overheated, so they had to do a head gasket job on it. Now, to do the head gasket job, you're gonna have to move the cylinder head, and you're gonna have to remove the timing chain. I'm not sure, whichever mechanic worked on it, did they touch that tensioner or not? If they have removed it, I mean, I'm gonna look for a head gasket or a timing chain, probably a cylinder head removal, and see if a part of it removing that tensioner. If it is, then there's a big chance that they put that gasket in the wrong way. And I did ask him, hey, do you know if that issue started happening after, or it was there before? He's not sure. He said, this is not my car that I drive, probably a family member. So he's not sure if the problem was before and then it happened after, but he know 100% it happened after the gasket. But was it there before? That's what he is not sure. That's why we cannot say, you know, the person that did his head gasket job, you know, probably used the old gasket or damaged the gasket or put it in the wrong way. Cylinder head gasket assembly removal. Does not mention anything about removing that tensioner, although in the picture it shows that it's off. That's the location of it right here, and this is the gasket. So again, I'm not sure. I don't have any steps in the procedure on how to do it. I found another piece of information. I was on direct hit, tried to look for the oil pressure specification, as I told you guys earlier. So I put oil pressure and I did a search, and I'm looking here and I see there's a TSB, another TSB recall, which is 17-NA-157. It says important on spin on oil filter replacement for gas engines designed with new oil pump control system, July 13, 2018, the release date. So all these engines basically 12 to 19, this is most of the GM engines, Buick, Cadillac, Chevy and GM. So what it says here, today engine has very high tolerance, two-stage oil pump and high flow lubricant system, require a proper match of oil filter to engine application is more important than it has ever been in the past. The use of replacement oil filter with an internal bypass valve, which I am not sure 100% if ours is with a bypass valve or not. Opening pressure specification of 15 psi, which equals to 100 or less, allow debris to circulate in the engine, causing damages to bearing and other tight tolerance areas, which may result in premature engine failure. The oil pressure was increased to accommodate those tighter tolerances. As a result, the oil filter specification of the product oil filter and the service oil filter was also improved to meet the new engine requirements. That's why sometimes I just tell you guys to pause and read. I'm not good at reading, and I'm doing my best reading it off the cell phone screen. Beginning to 2012, the oil pump began to regulate main gallery feedback instead of pump out pressure. This means that the oil pump now does not begin to regulate until pressure is built up to the main gallery. This change reduced the amount of time it takes to provide oil to the engine, bearing and lifters during the extreme cold start conditions. Okay, so important. Okay, what do we have? Okay, so sorry, I missed this. Main gallery feedback oil pump control system are present on the following engines families, which are spin-on oil filter: small gas engine SGE, large gas engine LGE, high failure high feature Gen 2 and small block Gen 5 gasoline engines. These engines with the main gallery feedback oil pump control system are factory built with ACDELCO oil filter. Important, the PF64 and PF63, which is commonly confused by many in the automotive service industry as an ACDELCO PF48 and or PF48E, because both oil filters have a similar appearance and are very close in oil can size. However, the oil filters are not the same size and also have different internal bypass valve opening pressure specification. PF48E equals 15 psi, P06DE equals 22 psi. Any aftermarket filter must also have an internal bypass valve opening pressure specification. Oh my god. Anyways, my finger was messing up the focus. Element integrity, filtration, performance, media, particle trap specification, and burst strength that is equal to ACDELCO P06.4 and 6.3E filters. So I the owner and I said, when was the last tank? I checked the oil. The oil is good, the level is good, and the quality is good. It's not burned, it's not old. He said he changed the oil with putting the new pump. And I told him, how about the filter? Where did you get the filter from? He said O'Reilly. So there's a big chance that this applies to us. Hopefully it is. I mean, if it's a matter of just a can, man, that's a hell of a fix to him and to you guys. So I called him. I said, hey, I need an OEM filter. He's going to grab one and come here, and we'll lift the car and see what we have on it. And also at the same time, I'll do my best to do show you guys the connector location and the check we're going to do over there. I'll dig in more for information. This is the part number for the oil filter, 12696-048. And when I Google it, it pulls a ACDELCO engine oil filter PF64. That's the one that PF64. That's the one that this TSP was talking about. So PF64 opens the internal bypass valve opens at 22 psi, and the ones that aftermarket open at 15. Well, moment of truth and two discoveries. First, as expected, aftermarket filter, and I'm not sure if that has the same specification, opens at 22 or 15. The second, look at the oil. There is excessive oil leak in this car. Is that from the oil pump that the owner replaced himself? This part is soaked with oil, but trying to find where's that. This is not it. I think this is the sensor. This is the sensor, not the solenoid. The solenoid should be, solenoid should be really? Should be here. Alright, let me find it. So the solenoid is internal, and that connector was for the solenoid. The reason why I disconnected it, and I did a rescan, and now we have circuit codes. Control circuit, control solenoid valve circuit, oil pressure control solenoid, oil pressure control solenoid, and that's it. So yeah, that's the solenoid connector, and it's internal. What I want to do, I want to probe to those and show you guys when I control it. It's gonna command here. How I'm gonna do it, let me set up for it. For the first pin that I'm in, that second one to the left, and we have 12 volts. That's the power from that fuse that I told you guys. I'm 100% sure that the fuse is good. One, we have 3.1 volts on it, and when we go to engine control, active test, engine oil, control solenoid valve, we have low, see, commanded ground, and high pressure 3.1. So it says malfunction because it's disconnected, by the way. We can do this when it's connected. Let's do that. I exposed that wire a little bit, that blue one, and I'm probing on it, and of course now we have 12 volts because we have it connected, so that solenoid winding is good. That's another indicator. Now when we activate low, we're gonna have a ground. When we do high, that's my concern. High, we'll do off, almost off. Let me escape out of here. That's the same voltage when it's off. So high. See, now it says okay, not run. Before it used to say malfunction because the harness was disconnected. Alright, so exit out of here.